Brian here. We still get a lot of people asking us about adaptive cruise control. I want to use this Kona as an example, but the principles will apply to a lot of different Hyundais. Pretty new Hyundais in the last couple of years, the cruise control functionality has moved over to this side, but sometimes you may have some of the previous models from about 2017 up as far as about 2022 or 23, and your cruise control might be on this side. The symbol you know for cruise control is going to be this one here, and if you're not sure if your car has adaptive cruise control, there should be a symbol like this. If it's a Hyundai, you should have a symbol with a car with these kind of chevrons in front of it, and that's how you'll know you've got adaptive cruise control. The idea of the adaptive cruise control is literally just going to be where you can set and predetermine the distance you want to stay behind the car in front. If they speed up, you speed up to follow them. If they slow down, you slow down to follow them. Okay, step one, setting up the cruise control. First of all, just get to your desired speed. So in this case, it's 120 kilometers an hour of a limit because we're on a motorway. So I'm just going to push the car manually using the accelerator up to 120 kilometers an hour. So I've gotten up to 120 kilometers an hour. The next thing is I need to enable the cruise control. So not set it, I just need to enable it first. To enable the cruise control, this button here in the top left of this particular car, that's going to enable it. So by pressing that, once I press it, you'll see it flashing on the screen. So that means the cruise control is now available and we want to set it. So setting it involves this button under here. So we just stroke that downwards. It is now engaged. I can take my foot off the accelerator. The car is now maintaining the 120 kilometers an hour that I desired. So that's basically setting up basic cruise control. Okay, just before we go any further, if this is the furthest you've ever gone on cruise control, it's just one thing. If you want to disable cruise control, there's basically two major ways of doing it. Method number one, just hit the brake. Once you touch the brake, it's actually still available, but you've just stopped using it. Or the second one is just hit the switch on the steering wheel and it turns the function completely off. That's just for anybody that's never used it before and they might be freaking out going, holy crap, what do I do next? Okay, fine. Let's assume you haven't turned it off and you're going to keep using the cruise control for the moment. This is where we get to the adaptive part. Right, the idea on the adaptive part is you drive up behind something, they're slower than you are. This is where the car is automatically going to slow down and follow them in front. So the first thing we want to do is decide how far do I want to generally stay behind cars that are in front of me. To regulate the distance we want to stay behind, it's this button here. And what you see then is when you toggle through that button, up on the screen as you're toggling, you'll be able to see the distance. So you've got like various little marks in front of the car. And in this case, we have distances 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's see it in action. So the general premise here is there's slow moving traffic in front of me. My foot is off the pedal because I'm using cruise control. The car is now slowing down to respect the slower moving traffic in front. I haven't moved my feet. The adaptive cruise control is now following the vehicle in front. Should I decide to change lane and go around it, I'll go into the fast lane. I was already doing 120 kilometers an hour. I haven't changed that. The adaptive cruise control is now going to get me back up to 120 kilometers an hour. And then all these movements have occurred without me touching the brake pedal or the accelerator pedal. So the idea is you have cruise control, you're at the speed you want, you encounter slow moving traffic, it adapts to it. Once you get around it, it gets you back to the speed you want. So what's a more practical application? Say for example, I'm doing 120 kilometers an hour. I've encountered a slower moving vehicle in the fast lane. Using my adaptive cruise control, the car is now slowing itself down to follow this Nissan Qashqai. The Qashqai driver is moving around something that's in the slow lane, but they're still doing a lesser speed than I was, approximately 110 kilometers an hour I think the Qashqai was doing, whereas I want to be at 120. So while they're overtaking, I'm staying behind them, but once they've actually cleared the object in front, they move over into the slow lane and my car now gets back up to 120 kilometers an hour where I was. But the key here is I haven't been using my brake pedal and I haven't been using my accelerator, and it really helps when it comes to driver fatigue. So that's pretty much how it works. One final thing actually is just the distances we talked about, 1, 2, 3, 4 in this car, just to show you how far you will end up staying behind an object if you use those different distances. So you have distance number 4, which is the furthest, and then that's followed by slightly shorter, distance number 3, and then slightly shorter again, distance number 2, and then we move into the shortest one then, which is distance number 1. So that's going to keep you closest to the object in front. So hopefully you got a better idea how the adaptive cruise control function works on a Hyundai. If there's any questions you have, let me know in the comment section below, and if you watched the whole thing, I really appreciate it. Brian's my name. Thanks for taking time to watch.